Canelo versus Caleb Plant. Who you got in that one? You like Canelo or Plant?
What?
You like Canelo or Plant to win the fight? Who do you think is going to win that fight?
Canelo.
Canelo. I do too. Now, the thing with this fight, as I explained in my video a couple nights, my live a couple nights ago, is the pathway to victory for Caleb Plant is extremely narrow. Extremely narrow. The reason being 12 KOs in 21 fights, not a big KO percentage, not a big puncher. So you take away that equalizer against a naturally more gifted, more experienced fighter in Canelo. And Caleb Plant is a huge underdog, plus 600. So when you have something like that, you look for, does he have an equalizer? And in this case, he doesn't. Second issue that Caleb Plant has is he has to definitively win 7 rounds. Definitively. And can he do that? The reason he has to definitively win them is because Canelo will get the benefit of the doubt in all close rounds. All close rounds. And you always have that one Canelo scorecard like the 114 against Mayweather. Loaded up already filled out. So Caleb Plant has to definitively win 7 rounds, and I don't know if he has the skill set and the tools to do that. The reason I don't is, if I could break it down in one sentence, Caleb Plant's good at everything, but Canelo's great at everything. There's levels, right? So what skill set does, what tool, what can Caleb Plant bring to the table that can change the complexion of this fight? Like when you saw Jermaine Taylor versus Bernard Hopkins, when he knocked off Bernard Hopkins for the middleweight title. Yes, Bernard Hopkins was a greater fighter, but head to head, Jermaine Taylor became the better fighter because he brought activity to the table. Bernard Hopkins had not faced anybody to that point. He faced Joe Calzaghe later on, who could beat him strictly off of activity. They were not going to allow themselves to be tied up. They were going to win rounds off of activity and win the fight. Bernard Hopkins was not able to yuck those fights up and clinch those guys to death. Does Caleb Plant have a skill set, a tool that can equalize this fight and make it a close fight? I don't know if he has that. So ultimately, when I break down this fight, my brain tells me that Canelo is going to be too much. Too much for Caleb Plant. It will be entertaining early. The reason it will be entertaining early is because I do believe that Caleb Plant is not intimidated by Canelo at all. He's a habitual line stepper leading up to this fight. He has continuously talked trash to Canelo in a way that I haven't seen a Canelo opponent talk trash to Canelo up to this point. I haven't seen a guy take it to this level yet, to where it's disrespectful to Canelo in the fact that after the fight, they're not going to be shaking each other's hands. And props to Caleb Plant for that, because he's here to fight. He's here to fight. So that's the wild card in this is Caleb Plant the type of guy who is not intimidated and will rise to the occasion? Is he the type of guy who fights to the level of opposition? That's the wild card in this. He fights down to a Caleb Truax, but then fights up to a Canelo Alvarez. If he's that type of guy, then we got ourselves a fight. And we got ourselves some intrigue on Saturday night. Otherwise, pretty easy call. I like Canelo by late stoppage. I am playing the over 9.5 though. I think it does go over. Caleb Plant's a tough dude. So we'll see, man. And just remember too, Canelo is better against taller fighters over 6 foot. Caleb Plant's over 6 foot, I believe. He's just better fighting guys who are taller. He gets on the inside and digs into the body and turns their height advantage into a height disadvantage. So look for all those things. Canelo by late stoppage. Maybe Caleb Plant makes it to decision and loses a pretty wide decision. But look for an entertaining fight early. This will be entertaining early. Tell him hiya.
Tell him hiya.
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 Peace. God bless.
God bless.